What a game. Nebraska falls to Purdue 37-43. What a game. Not much to really say. It was a shootout, and we lost. I thought we were going to lose this game by two scores, and we played a little bit better than that. But in the way we played, it was frustrating. Just a frustrating game all around. Let's dive into it a little bit. Purdue killed us offensively, just killed us in every way. I want to really, I think the defense just was abysmal today, and it really goes to show that a lot of people thought maybe this defense arrived after the last 2 weeks. We shut out our opponents 2 weeks in a row in the second half, and everyone was like, oh, the defense might have arrived. 43 points against Purdue today, and it was soft. Purdue, I mean, we're looking at the stats right here. Aiden O'Connell threw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Their walk-on freshman running back, Devin Mockabee, ran for 180 and a touchdown. I mean, just ridiculous stats here offensively for Purdue, and it's all a testament to the defense. The defense was soft all day long. The defensive line had no push. We were running dime packages the entire game, 3 defensive linemen, and they were just running the same shotgun run over and over again with Mockabee, 5-6 yards a pop every time. It was infuriating, and it wasn't any better on the pass defense. They would just run out routes, check down passes for 5 yards, and we were so soft. We didn't want to give up a big play. We were scared of Charlie Jones. We were scared of Durham, and we said, oh, nope, we're just going to play deep. You can take everything in between. And they just went down the field like that the entire game. The entire game. I don't think, I might be mistaken, but I don't think they punted this entire game. I don't think we saw their punter once. Just really bad. Really bad. Let me check if they did indeed punt. Yep, they didn't. Purdue did not punt one time in this entire game. That was a testament, and they only turned the ball over once too. So every other time they were going down the field. Just awful performance by the defense, and I don't know what we got to do to correct it. We're going to the bye week, but it was pathetic. And I know we're playing against a really good quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, one of the best in the country, but he just striped us up, man, and we looked bad in every aspect defensively. There were a couple times where it seemed like it seemed inevitable when the game was winding down that they weren't going to give the ball back to the offense because the defense just didn't have any push all night. They were playing soft all night, couldn't stop the run all night. End of the day, when it meant the most, when we needed to get the ball back the most to get back on the scoreboard and take the lead, the defense couldn't do it, and Purdue runs out the clock. Let's go to the offense real quick. And there's obviously one big headline, Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer with the greatest wide receiver performance of all time in Nebraska football history. He had the most receiving yards of all time. He broke the record with 7 catches and the most yards ever in a game by a Nebraska receiver with 237 and 2 touchdowns. It really goes to show. And let's not forget that he was also our leading rusher today, which we'll get to our running game. But he had 1 carry for 60 yards on the jet sweep. It's just a great performance by Trey Palmer, and honestly, it goes to show how massive he is for this offense. I don't know where we'd be as an offense without him because he's the only one who can make plays consistently. And it's kind of a shame that his performance today went to waste. I mean, one of the best performances all year by a receiver, and it would result in a loss. Casey Thompson played pretty bad today. My take on Casey Thompson, he's going to give you high highs, he's going to give you low lows. There's going to be great reads over the top to Trey Palmer, and then he's just going to throw a mind-boggling pick when you don't need it the most. He's going to throw a pick. He doesn't see a guy who makes bad reads. One of my biggest critiques about Casey Thompson is that he refuses to run a lot of the time. Like when Adrian Martinez would sense pressure in the pocket, he'd just run. For better or worse, he'd run. Casey Thompson senses pressure and he tries to extend the play, or he steps up and tries to force the ball in there that he shouldn't force, and it results in a bad pass or a pick. And that's the high and low experience of Casey Thompson. And I think this loss largely is on the defense, but those 2 picks that he had in this game were massive, and those really switched over the momentum to Purdue. And he's just not a great performance by him. The running game was really bad today. we only ran the ball with Anthony Grant 11 times. I mean, that's unacceptable. And I understand Trey Palmer's having a great day, but 11 times for Anthony Grant against, I mean, Purdue is not a great run-stopping defense in any regard. So to only run the ball 11 times, especially when Casey Thompson's struggling, I don't understand that. I mean, you just look at the other stats. Oliver Martin obviously had a big catch early in this game, or it was, I think it was early in this game. Vokalek had a couple catches. Nothing crazy here offensively. And I'm not even, the offense had a good day. And the O-line was getting destroyed. Well, I'll go and talk about it more, but the offensive line was just terrible today, especially in the first half. Our tackles, Corcoran and Hunter Anthony, were just getting demolished. This O-line sucks. Plain and simple, one of the worst O-lines in college football. They did play better in the second half for sure, but I feel bad for Casey Thompson. I don't want to judge him too harshly because I understand what he has to put up with this O-line. O-line was awful today. I mean, again, we're going back to Purdue offensively. Obviously, Charlie Jones, 12 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He killed us. And again, this defense made a concerted effort to make sure that he didn't do anything against us. They were playing deep the entire game. They know that Charlie Jones is a big playability. He's ripped teams before this in this season. And they made a concerted effort to say, hey, we're not doing that. And he still ripped them up through the slants, through little checkdowns. It was infuriating. And one thing I want to talk about really quick that really frustrated me throughout the game is that we get some decent pass rush and we would force Aiden O'Connell out of the pocket, and Aiden O'Connell would just find a check down. And a check down would run for 20-plus yards. He'd be wide open, and he'd run for 20, 30 yards, get into our territory. That can't happen. Ever. Ever. I mean, it's a blown coverage. And every time, there'd be an open guy in the flat, and he'd be wide open and run for an extra 20. And it happens so frequently. We never got a pass rush. It feels like we could never bring him down. We'd have a decent pass rush on some plays, but we never got him down. And it's frustrating. The defense in general was really bad today. It didn't help that we obviously didn't have Nick Henrich or Luke Reimer, but I mean, I think it was just a soft performance from the defense. And the secondary was really bad. Most notably, Quentin Newsome, I thought had a terrible day. Really bad day from Quentin Newsome. He was getting torched on the inside, specifically from Charlie Jones. And I understand Charlie Jones is one of the best receivers in the country, but we also think very highly of Quentin Newsome, and he just got beat over and over and over again. I don't know what Bill Busch has to do to turn around this defense over the bye. We play a Illinois team that can put up points, especially through the run game. I'll talk about the Illinois game a little more extensively in the next 2 weeks, but this defense, and it was noted on the broadcast a couple times, this defense is the worst run-stopping defense in the Big Ten. And it was notable today. Purdue had a walk-on freshman running back who ran for 180 on us. I mean, let that sink in. And let me remind you that Purdue is not a running team. They are pass-heavy. They're a pass-first team. That's the way they've always been under Jeff Brom. And they had a true freshman walk-on running back run for 30 carries and 130 yards. And compare to that, we're going to go play Illinois, who is a really solid team. Really solid. They had a big win today against Minnesota. And they're 6-1, by the way. And they're ranked. And they're going to the bye week. And we're going to play them in Chase Brown, who is one of the best running backs in college football. And let me remind you, we have one of the worst run-stopping defenses in college football. Not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. Today really exposed our weaknesses. It really did. And our defense has not arrived. It's still one of the worst in college football, especially the run defense. But I think the whole game plan was off. I mean, the whole game plan is off, but no one executed. You can't play like you did because they dared us. They dared us to just attempt to try them and blitz and stop the run so they could get something deep. And we never did. We just stayed. We stood deep. We said, hey, we're not going to give up anything. We're not going to give up anything deep. And they said, okay. And we're going to take 5 yards carry. 5 yards of pass. Every time. First down. They drove down the field all game long. We can never get a turnover. We got 1 turnover in this game, early in the ball game. Didn't have any effect. So just a really frustrating performance by the defense. And again, at a cost to the best wide receiver performance of all time in Nebraska football history. So I don't know. It's the Nebraska experience. It's all in perspective. I mean, no, I don't think a lot of realist Nebraska fans didn't think we'd lose by 6 points. But I also think a lot of realist Nebraska fans didn't think our defense would play this horribly. It was a good effort, and we tried. And obviously, our team is not good enough to be number 1 in the West. We knew this. Our team was never gonna go to the Big Ten championship game. You know, we have a really tough schedule ahead of us. We play Illinois, not a joke. You know, and then we go play Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. Great teams who can run the football down our throat. It's going to be a hard schedule. And I don't want to look ahead too much, but I think if this defense doesn't get any better, specifically in the run-stopping department, we're not going to win a game. We're not going to win a game going forward. I know how good our offense could be, but we're not going to win a game going forward if we can't stop the run. So that's the league we play in, guys. That's the league we play in. But yeah, I was impressed though. I thought we played really solid. It was just frustrating how we lost because we could have won that. We could have won that ball game. We really could have. And when the defense needed to stop the most, they couldn't get a stop ball game, and that's going to be the story of the season. So if Mickey could turn around, if Bill Busch could turn it around defensively, we could still do something this season. But next week is a really big test. Or not next week, in 2 weeks against Illinois. That's a really big test. We play them at home. Again, Chase Brown and company coming to town, one of the best running backs in college football. It's going to be tough. And the O-line got to be better. But we're going to do a break. Hopefully we fix some things. Hopefully the team gets refreshed, and we got to make a move. We got to make a move. And hopefully Casey Thompson comes out slinging the rock like we know he can. So that's it. You know, it was an interesting game. It was a little surprising in a lot of regards, but we only lost by 6 points. There's a lot of you can take some positives away from it. The offense was really good. I honestly can't imagine what this team would be without Trey Palmer. I think if we didn't have Trey Palmer, I almost feel bad how good a receiver he is. I mean, he is one of the best receivers in college football, and don't be surprised when he enters the draft. This coming spring. So, yep. Nebraska loses only by 6 points to Purdue. We drop down in the West rankings. We're no longer going to be number 1. And we play Illinois in 2 weeks. But thank you guys for watching this recap. Close loss. Let's hope we can turn it around. And let's hope Mickey can get a couple wins back on the board. And we'll see where that takes us. But thank you guys all for watching. And have a good night.